Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. It has now been 2 years since I started using the Wearing app, and I made a video about a year ago on my first year of the app and how it had gone and what my stats were and all that good stuff, and now I'm making sort of a part 2, or the second year update I should say. And I wasn't sure I was going to make one of these. I said that in that video that I wasn't sure if I was going to make one for year 2, but I decided I wanted to do it because there have been some changes to my wardrobe. I've acquired new stuff and I've gotten rid of some old stuff, but also just what my style has been, according to the app, has changed a little bit. So I wanted to talk to you about that. I do have a series on this channel that I update sporadically, I should say, where I talk about my style and what my style is and what I want it to be and how much of my style is actually reflected in my wardrobe and stuff like that. I can leave a little playlist linked up in the cards for you. And I wanted to look at my wearing and what I've worn, so the wearing of my wearing, and just see how and if that has changed through the second year. And this again is in no way sponsored or endorsed by Wearing. It's just the app of choice that I've been using and I really enjoy it. And I have a comparison, maybe a comparison video upcoming between Wearing and a different closet app that I've been trying out. So let me know if you're interested in that. I am also this year, just like last year, doing a thing where I want to wear everything in my wardrobe at least once. And there will be updates on that coming up as well. I'll be doing one this summer to update the first 6 months. But today I just wanted to give an update of what has changed for me in my wardrobe, what my stats look like this year compared to last year, and some other little bits and bobs that I want to throw in there. So let's go. So the first thing I talked about in last year's video was how many days I had gotten dressed, how many days I had tracked outfits in the app, and that number was 285, which was pretty decent. I tend to wear loungewear on days off or sometimes when I work from home, which I've steadily been doing about once a week for the past 2 years I should say. And this year's number is 328, so was that like 43 more days I've gotten dressed, which is actually not bad. That means there's less than 40 days in the past 12 months that I've not gotten dressed, which is really, really good. I will say that our Japan trip was in these past 12 months, and there I got dressed every single day, which is a very high number. I don't tend to get dressed every single day of every month normally, so that month is a bit of an outlier and has obviously affected this, but that's actually really good. And I mean, I've had as many weekends in the past year as I did the previous year, but I guess I've just been getting dressed for more of them, and I've also been sick a little bit less, I think, because when I'm off sick I also don't like to dress up. I don't really put clothes on. It's PJs or loungewear or just a dressing gown on those days. Next up, I want to talk about my most worn items, and last year I gave you 6. I will quickly run through them. It was this pair of jeans, which had 46 wears, these pink linen trousers, which has 17, this black camisole, of which I had 2 and I wasn't sure if I was tracking them as 1 or as 2, which I wore 16 times, this beige overshirt had 15 wears, my black jeans had 14 wears, and lastly these dungarees, which had 13 wears. Out of these 6 items, I no longer own or use either of the pairs of jeans. The blue ones got too tight, I was uncomfortable in them, and I reflected a lot last year on why and how it turned out that they were my most worn item when I don't consider myself a jeans girl or a jeans woman, someone who wears a lot of jeans. And then the black pair is broken and has gone into my husband's sort of fabric stash if he wants to do something else with them other than them being jeans. The black camisole also broke. Both of them broke. They had like moth holes or like just wear and tear in the fabric, not in like seams, so it wasn't really repairable. And the beige overshirt needed mending a year ago when I made the previous video, and it's still in my mending stash because I'm very bad at sitting down and actually mending things unless it's like a collective household thing, and even then I've been focusing on other projects. So yeah, I really should get on that. I do miss that shirt. I remember really liking wearing it and I want to wear it again, and I'm actually shocked that it's been out of my wardrobe for a full year. That is crazy. But the pink linen trousers and the dungarees are also on my most worn for this year, so let's talk about that. For this you're going to get 10 items because I wanted to go through the top 10 that the app gave me. It gave me 10 last year too, but I want to talk about the top 6 then, the top 5 plus the dungarees, because the dungarees were important. So my number 1 most worn item this past year is the pink trousers. I have worn them 51 times in total. These numbers are going to be total, not just of the last year. And that is actually surprising to me because 51 sounds good. That's up 34 times since the last year's video. But 34 in 24 months, and I brought them and wore them a fair bit in Japan. That's weird. That's weird to me. But they are my number 1 most worn item and most worn pants. And if we ignore the fact that I think the number sounds a bit low, I wish I'd had a higher number to show you, I'm actually really happy that they are my top 1. They are really comfortable. I always feel really good in them. They look good. They feel good. They're a great color. I really, really love that color. I feel like they are a good cornerstone of my wardrobe. And while they don't fit all of the aesthetics or all of the styles that I sort of veer towards, I do feel like they are a really big part and a really good cornerstone of my wardrobe. It might not go with my more cottagecore, whatever that is, type style, but I do thoroughly enjoy these trousers and I'm so happy that they're number 1. Secondly, we have this white button down, which is my oldest and most trusted button down. I've worn it 36 times over the past 2 years, and it's the kind of button down where I wear it on its own, just tucked in and like a little bit billowy, or I'll wear it open in the summer over on top of like a dress or something if I just want a little bit more coverage from like the sun, or it's a little bit chilly but I still want to wear a dress, that kind of thing. And it's such a good shirt. This is actually a thing I have mended because this lost I think 3 out of the 5 or 6 buttons that I use down the front of it, and it lost multiple of them, and I've managed to replace or just change out a few of them recently, so it actually is more functional again. I can wear it closed. What a concept. And I really like this shirt. It's getting old. Like, this has definitely gotten some like sunscreen damage, got a bit yellowed by that. It has a lot of loose threads on it that I keep trimming off and hoping and praying that it'll just hold together because it's such a good shirt. There's something about the texture of this. It's nice and billowy, and just really, it's not stiff, it doesn't need to be ironed, but it's just a great white shirt. I really, really love it. And if I was to do what I did last year and tally up like all of my white shirts and count them as one item, that number would definitely be higher, and it might even surpass the pink trousers. Maybe. Thirdly, we have my white denim jacket, and this is actually not true. This jacket has been worn 31 times. That is correct. I wore it every single day of our Japan trip. That tracks. It was a month long. That's when I wore it. But I usually do not track my outerwear. This is the only outerwear piece I have in the app because I wanted to track the usage of it in Japan. I wanted to do a dedicated video on my Japan capsule, which you can see up here. But I usually don't track my outerwear usage. And I have jackets and coats that I've worn much more than this one, so it's a bit inaccurate. I have one winter coat that I wore the entirety of winter, so I want to say like October through February, a bit into March. I also wore it one day in May because it was 5 degrees outside and raining, and it was crazy. But I've worn that more, and I've worn my other denim jacket, my blue and dark grey one, much more than I've worn the white one, so it's a little bit inaccurate, but the number of usage, like the number of wears, 31, is correct. Next up, we have these navy trousers. I got these kind of on a whim a couple summers ago, and I thought and still a little bit think that they're a little bit too slouchy compared to the kind of trousers and the kind of looks I like to wear outside the house. I got these a little bit more as like lounging at home, but being slightly more put together than like proper PJ trousers, PJ pants. And I'm so pleasantly surprised by them and surprised by how much I've actually worn them. I have worn them 28 times in the past 2 years, which is not an insane amount. It's like half the times, a little bit more than half the times I've worn the pink trousers, but it's still a high number. It's my second most worn pair of pants. Now that I'm saying this, I'm wondering how these stats sort of reset, because that's still fewer wears than the jeans from last year, and the jeans from last year are no longer to be seen. Maybe I've archived them? maybe that affects it. Either way, I have been surprised by these pants because I've actually been so comfortable in them. Not only are they comfortable pants, but I don't mind how they look anymore. I don't feel like they are too slouchy. They're definitely not like put together trousers. There are certain things, certain occasions I wouldn't wear them to, but they have been a great addition. And the fact that they are elasticated and they have a drawstring waist just means that they are so much more comfortable than some pants and some bottoms in general that are just tight and restrictive. And the fabric is soft and the fit is nice, and I've worn these definitely on days at home when I've just been lounging around not really doing anything, but I have also worn them out. I've worn them to work. I wore them to work when I was having horrible period cramps and I just wanted to wear pajamas, but I had to be at work, and that was great. They served that purpose. I was really comfortable in them, and like I said, I don't anymore feel like they are too slouchy and too unput together, which is not a word, but it's a word I'm going to use. And I'm really happy with them. I'm happy with the function they fill in my wardrobe. I feel good enough in them and I actually quite like them. Next up we have this white cardigan, and if I am not misremembering, I got that in October or November, so like 7 months ago-ish, 7-8 months ago. And it's quickly climbed the ranks and become one of my favorite cardigans. I have had such a good time with this cardigan. This was also brought to Japan, so again, in Japan I only had 15 items that I circled through continuously for a month. This was one of 2 second layers. I had this in a sweater, so it got an increased amount of wears. Then I didn't have as many options to swap it with, but it has genuinely become a cardigan that I thoroughly enjoy wearing. I didn't know how well a white cardigan would fare in my wardrobe because while I like my white shirts and white tops, I wasn't sure that a white cardigan would have the same use. I mean, obviously not, it's a cardigan and not a shirt, but I usually would go for a different color cardigan, or like I'd wear something kind of plain and neutral and need a cardigan and then go for a pink one or a blue one. But this has actually been so useful. I've really enjoyed it. I wore a fair bit in the winter actually, which surprises me because a white cardigan in the winter, something about that in my brain just didn't really, I didn't think that was going to be a thing that I would do. And now we're slowly edging into summer. It's June 8th as I'm filming this, and June so far and most of May has actually not been warm at all. But the temperatures are going to increase a little bit in the next week at least. Even so, maybe now would be a better time to wear that cardigan than 2 weeks from now when it's 25 degrees potentially, who knows. Even so, I do think this will have a place, or it will have a place in my wardrobe in summer too, on those slightly cooler days. I just haven't been gravitating towards cardigans recently at all because it's not been quite cold enough that I've needed one, or I've just been too optimistic that I can get by without a cardigan and then I've been cold instead. Even so, I like this cardigan. It's done a good job so far in my wardrobe. I worn it 26 times since I got it and I'm really happy with it. Next we have this green tank top which has 25 wears. I was gonna say views, but it has 25 wears. And this is one of the few tank tops that I do find myself wearing continuously. I don't think it's that important in my wardrobe, and if I lost it or if it broke beyond repair, I don't think looking for a lime green tank top would be the first thing I'd do. But it is a material and a fit that is quite nice. It's tight enough, but it's not skin tight, it's not like clingy. And it's easy to throw on either with the pink pants or with the navy pants or anything else. And it's a color that I quite enjoy. It's nice. It's a nice pop of color, if nothing else. I've worn it a fair bit and it's easy to just like, what will I wear today? Something easy. I'll just grab that. So I'm both surprised that it's on here because I don't consider it one of my most worn and like a cornerstone of my wardrobe the way I do the pink pants, for example. But I can admit that I do wear it quite a lot. I did also, when I did my closet clear out earlier in the year or late last year, I do have a couple of tank tops that I set aside to be just tucked away unless I feel a need for them and just see if I have a use for them in my wardrobe. And none of them have been brought back into my wardrobe. Nothing from that box has been brought back into my wardrobe now, almost 6 months into the year, 5 months at least. And I don't know what that says. I don't think of myself as a big tank top person. I rarely, if ever, wear tank tops without something on top, like a denim shirt or another shirt or a third shirt or just like something on top, a cardigan. I don't really wear tank tops on their own apart from when I work out, and that's separate clothes. But I don't know, I like this one. I'm surprised it's ranked so high. Next up we have my dungarees. This pair of dungarees specifically. I now have 2 pairs, but this pair specifically. These dungarees and the pink trousers are the only items on last year's list and this year's list. In defense of last year's list, it only had 6 items. This one will have 10, but even so. These dungarees have been worn 25 times, which is an increase of 12 times since last video, and I don't wear them super much, evidently, because these were also part of my Japan capsule. It's increased by 12 wears. How many wears did I get of them in Japan? Not quite 12, but even so. I don't apparently wear them super much, but I do still really like them. I'm glad they're still on this list. They have been bumped 1 step. They were in 6th place last time and they're in 7th place now, but that is because of the white denim jacket, which is still a problem in these stats. But I like them, they're good. I have this other pair of dungarees that you've seen me wear a couple times on this channel so far. They are from Miscellaneous. These ones are from Run and Fly. They fit differently, they feel differently, but I do enjoy them both. I have been veering a little bit more towards the Miscellaneous ones recently, possibly because they're new and shiny in my wardrobe, possibly because they have a white base, possibly because they are a slightly tighter fit, and which was something I wasn't sure I'd like about them when I first got them, but even so, I have been veering a little bit more towards them, but I have nothing bad to say about the Run and Fly ones. Next up, we have my denim dress. This didn't rank last time because I didn't have it last time. I got it last summer, didn't I? I'm pretty sure I did. And this quickly became a staple of my wardrobe. I mentioned that in this video where I broke down my thrifted items, like a tier ranked my thrifted items of 2024. This just it just serves such a good purpose in my wardrobe. I love it a lot. It's comfortable, it's a good fit, it has pockets, I like the length of it, it's easy to just throw on as is. That's the thing I'll say about it, that most of the times I just wear that on its own, possibly with tights, possibly with a belt, but I rarely layer with it. It's very much its own item, and I don't mind that, but most, if not all of these other items, I think actually all of these other items, because they're not a full body piece, I have style in different ways, and so it has more, I guess, more options like that. I could definitely wear a cardigan or a sweater, and I have, but I don't get as much variation out of it as I do, say, the pink trousers. But it's a great dress. I really like it. I'm so glad I got it last year. Next up, we have a 3rd pair of pants, and this 4 if we count the dungarees, and this is a little bit surprising to me because, like I last year said, that I feel like I'm not really a jeans person. I also don't really feel like I am a pants person. I do definitely feel like I am more of a skirts and dresses kind of person than pants. In the winter I'll wear them with tights, and I recently got into white tights as opposed to black, and I've thoroughly enjoyed that in the spring months at least. But this is, like I said, the 3rd or 4th pair of pants on here. However, this is because I have more skirts than I do pants. So even though I have 3 or 4 pairs of pants on this list, doesn't mean that I wear pants more often. It just means that these pants get worn with a higher frequency than my skirts get worn. Editing Matilda here to say that I did the math. And if I count the times I've worn pants and dungarees, that is 108 times, if I've counted correctly, for the year. And skirts, specifically only skirts, was 58, so almost twice as many times I've worn pants and dungarees. I did, however, not count shorts. Maybe I should have, but I don't wear shorts a lot, I feel like, and then I saw them come up more than I expected to when I went through all the outfits. And I guess it's unfair to count dungarees when I don't count dresses, because a dress with something on top, depending on how it's styled obviously, but that can look like a skirt, and dungarees is more upper body coverage than pants usually are. I don't know if this is helpful at all, but I do think maybe I do wear more pants, like pants more frequently, pants in any capacity, trousers, jeans, not anymore, shorts, dungarees, more frequently than I wear skirts, at least. Skirts and dresses, not sure. I'm learning a lot about myself. Even so, I got these recently. Did I get these last year? I don't even know if I got these last year. I think I got them this year. This year has been so weird time-wise for me, but I think I got them this year. Either way, they are a pair of khaki pants. They have a little bit of embroidery on the front pockets. They have pockets. Wow. And they are just comfortable. They're kind of loose fitting, but not in the way that the navy pants are. They still have like a defined waist. I could put a belt with them if I wanted to, but they're just not too tight. They're not restrictive. They're not the most flattering pairs of pants I own, but not everything needs to be flattering either. I just like them. They are comfortable. They clearly fill a space in my wardrobe. I'm happy to have been gearing away from jeans, which I no longer own any. I have a couple up and wearing that I'm trying to sell, but I no longer have any jeans in my wardrobe, in my rotation, and I'm instead more onto other kinds of pants, comfortable pants. It's really nice. And if I didn't say that, I've worn these 22 times since I got them, and again, I think I might have gotten them this year. It's very possible I gotten them this year. And in that case, 22 times is a lot so far. And the last item I want to talk about, the 10th most worn item, is this skirt. This surprises me. This is a slightly tiered orange or like peachy and white skirt, checkered skirt that I've had for a couple of years, and it's really comfortable. I like the fit of it. I like how it feels. I like the fabric, all that, but I'm surprised that it's ranking so highly. I would not think that this is one of my most worn skirts, but I'm also trying to think what would my most worn skirt be, and I can't think of another one. Maybe one of my wool skirts, obviously not, because they're not. This is the one that's on the list, but yeah, I'm surprised because I don't feel like I wear this one this much. I wear it in summer for sure, and I do layer with it sometimes in summer, but I wouldn't think of it as one of my most worn skirts. Interesting. Very interesting. Now, in last year's video, when I talked about my first year using wearing, I had 21 unused items in my wardrobe, and I believe some of them were recently purchased and had not yet been used by the time I made that video. But I was also about 5 months into my wear everything challenge for 2024, and everything ended up getting used before the end of the year. The number for this year so far, like for the second year of wearing, is 16. There are 16 items in my wardrobe that I've yet to use, and 10 of those, embarrassingly enough, 10 of those are things I got in Japan. Now, the reason that I haven't been using everything I got in Japan is not because it's not seasonally appropriate, it's not because I don't like it, it's simply because so much of it is waiting to be ironed, and life has been really crazy recently. That's also why I haven't been making videos for a little while. May has been incredibly hectic for me, and ironing has just not been a priority. It makes me sad because there are things I really want to use, but I have used some of my Japan stuff, but they're just waiting to be ironed, and I haven't prioritized ironing. So I have 16 unworn items as of right now, 17 if we count wearing the vest, the reversible vest, in 2 ways. I have put it in both ways in wearing, but I'm working on it, and I'm still doing a wear everything challenge for 2025, so I'll give you updates on how I'm doing with that. And 89% of my wardrobe currently is being used, and that still feels okay. I'd like it to be 100%, but 89 feels okay. That is where I'm going to end it today, though. I do also have stats on my most worn outfits, and there are stats on like what colors I have the most of, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to leave it here for today. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear down below if you track your wardrobe in any way. It could just be taking a selfie every day of what you're wearing or anything else. I'd love to hear your system if you have one in the comments down below. And I hope to be back with another video soon. So I hope to see you then. Bye!